Now, we have to be careful about eating leftover food from restaurants. We have to make sure that if we bring a doggy bag, as we call it, home, or a container of leftover food that you've eaten at a restaurant, that it doesn't sit out too long, because some people, after they eat, they like to sit down, stay and hang out and, have a drink or smoke their cigars. They used to do these type of things, but now you can't really smoke in the restaurant anymore. They've been past that, but I'm just saying that people like to sit around, and talk and fellowship and socialize, and just relax and have a good time, which is a good thing because of all the stuff that's going on in the world. We don't take time out to, get away from the chaos. So when people go and hang out, and there's leftover food on the table, people are talking over that food. It's not covered. Some people will take a napkin and cover their food. If you notice, if you've ever seen that before, but it's rare. But people will take a napkin, cover their food. And if they go to the restroom, or the ladies' room, or the powder room, whatever they want to call it, or the men's room, they take a napkin and cover over their food and cover over their drink. And that's a good idea. And then they return, and presume what they're doing, eating or drinking or whatever. Now, some people do it even at the table at home. If you're going to be away from your food, you cover it up or whatnot. Say the doorbell ring, you go to the door, because there's always something, in the air, and things like that. We're not going to never get rid of those type of things. That's just the way it is. But however, we have to be ever so careful about food that we consume and what's unconsumed, and we bring it home. And we have to make sure that if you are going to bring it home, leftovers, that they're put in, uh, put in a container, or maybe transfer it into another container, and that the food is heated up, and you don't eat it days later, because they tell you that, I've even had read read studies and read, excuse me, things that said that you shouldn't even be eating leftover food the next day, and things like that. And some people have a weak stomach, some people have a weakened immune system, and sometimes, food poisoning uh, can attack all of us at some point. All of us might at some point, at some time in our life, have had food poisoning, and we try to figure out where it came from. And some people know right away. Some people have had it more than once. And sometimes you're thinking about, where did I get this from? How did I get this sick? And you have to start thinking about, what did I eat, and going and backtracking, right? So this 19-year-old man, he's identified as JC, right, in a YouTube video. He had his fingers and legs amputated after eating leftover noodles. Now, after eating chicken, rice, and lo mein leftovers he had purchased from a restaurant. Now, the thing about that is, we have to be careful which restaurants we eat at too. We never know who's preparing our food, and we got to look at the code. Is it A? Is it a B? Is it C? Is it D? And if it's really, some restaurants get shut down until they come up to standards. But you want to try to eat at these A-level restaurants where they have a high rating, and that they're clean, and that that they're clean. They have a good reputation. And one of the things is asking, well, how many people have received food poisoning, and maybe they've posted reviews. Like, you remember Yelp? You could post reviews on Yelp. Now they have Google and some other stuff and apps that you can post reviews on, right? But you got to ask the question, how many people have posted reviews, and how many people were satisfied, or did they get sick? Did they show some things that didn't look clean, that didn't look sanitary? When it comes down to these restaurants, are their tables clean, and are they wiped down with sanitized washcloths, or dish rags, as we call it, or washcloths? Are the floors clean? Are the seats clean? Those are things that I look at when I go out. I'll be looking at the table. I look at the seats. I look at the floors. Because you just want to make sure that you are eating in a place that you are not being placed at a high risk of getting sick, or eating contaminated food. Are the employees, do they look clean? Are their uniforms clean? Are their aprons clean? when they go to the restroom, do they wash do they look like they, like they went in there, they wash their hands? If you in there and you see them in there, because I saw this lady go in the restroom one day. I was at a major department store, and she did not wash her hands. I kid you not. And I don't care if you have some hand sanitizer or not. When you go in the restroom and use the restroom, uh, and the sinks do work. They have warm water and cold water, and they have the hand sanitizer. And I was like, now imagine her going up to a register after she did not wash her hands and, happened to use the keypad. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And I was like, well, I hope she's not going where I'm going, because I don't want to have to use no keypad after her. That's why we need some alcohol wipes to take with us, and hand sanitizer, and then go wash our hands, because we just never know what's going to come up against us, right? And so this young man, before he got admitted to a hospital, his skin had assumed a purplish coloration. This was preceded by chills, generalized weakness, chest pain, shortness of breath, neck stiffness, and blurry vision. And these things, if you're allergic to foods, and this is a part of food poisoning, that the shortness of breath, and even, your throat closing up sometime, you're allergic to something, weakness, chills, all that stuff going on. And so the blood and urine samples showed that he had an infection caused by a terrible bacteria, Neisseria meningitidis. The bacteria had gotten into his bloodstream, unleashing some terrible symptoms, including purpura fulminans, a condition in which many blood clots form throughout the body. These clots can cut blood circulation to your skin, fingers, arms, and legs. Eventually, the clots can block major and critical organs such as the liver, kidneys, lungs, and even the heart itself, which you realize that a lot of times people can have a blockage, and they wind up with having a heart attack or a stroke. And so so it goes on to say that people can pick up the bacteria by inhaling droplets from kissing or sharing food or utensils with an infected person. Wow. See, that's why you need to have your own utensils. Eat with your own utensils. And if you're going to share food, put it on their plate. Before you even eat out of it, with a clean utensil, give them some on their own plate. Because you got to be careful. And if you don't know your family members, and you don't know, sometimes your family members can go out and pick up things, and if they're sharing with other people and their girlfriends and boyfriends and all of that, we just have to be so careful. Even glasses, and the funny thing is, I didn't teach growing up my son to drink out the same glass. And you know what? My mother was like that too. She didn't allow us to drink from her or behind. We had to have our own cup, our own glass. And my son was funny like that. He wanted his own cup to drink out of. Not that I promoted, or his father promoted, drinking from the same glass. But he was one of them. he was a child that said anyway. From even if he thought you was going to offer it, he just always had his own glass. That's just the way it is. Not drinking out of the same. You get another cup. And it's just how it is. And if you leave your comments below about your experience. And if you've raised children, can you point out some unique things about your children and things like that? But anyway, symptoms typically appear 3 to 4 days after infection, although it can take up to 10 days. His friend with whom he shared the leftovers, he did share them, got sick, although his condition did not become life-threatening. So it was his friend whom he shared the leftovers with. Now, some standard precautions for avoiding food spoilage include not letting it stay out for more than 2 hours after being cooked, storing 40 degrees and under in a refrigerator, and using it within 3 to 4 days. Now, I said I've heard that within 24 days, but they're saying to use it within 3 to 4 days. Now, and I just want to let you know that this article is for informational, educational purposes only. And so anyway, share this, because it's very interesting that, people can really have extreme, can be affected, by, be affected extreme, and he was affected very severely. And you know, with something like that. And so we have to be very careful. And this is just, even to remind people, you know, when you're out here eating or you're going to get food, just to be very careful. It's nice to try out different restaurants and different foods, but also just be very cognizant and conscious of where you're eating and what you're trying out, because you just want to protect yourself and you want to be around for your family, your children, grandchildren, spouses, your loved ones, your friends. You just want to be around, and be able to be healthy. And so with that being said, I'm sorry about this teenager that lost his legs and his fingers, but we just got to be ever so careful. So please leave your respectful comments below. Let me know what you think. What is your experience? And do you have, a child that, is unique in their own way, and that, and very, conscious of things? Please let me know what you think. And God bless you on today. Have a beautiful day. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber. Thank you all for my new subscribers and subscribers. And also, if you stop by the channel, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. And then don't forget to share the video. God bless you all.